Hello, everyone. I'm privileged to be the founder and the CEO at Suba Capital. And this time we're talking about something that is, well, not quite news, but it is for some people. We're talking about digital finance and access in 2016, what that looks like. So the big question is why digital finance matters in everyday life. It's 2016. Nearly everyone has a mobile phone that lives in a semi-urban or urban area. We understand that there are still very remote rural areas who do not have access to that luxury. So basically, this is how people talk about money, the tools and everything that work around money in real life. So for those that don't already know, let's do just a quick reality check. Now, many people have mobile banking apps on their phone or some form of mobile wallet. In Nigeria, where Super Capital primarily operates, there are big mobile wallets that all you just need is your phone number. This is same thing in East Africa across Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya. This is the same thing across other parts of West Africa. And Europe, the UK, and so on and so forth. Now, however, fewer people feel secure financially. It's weird that a lot of people have access to money, but they are not financially secure. So, what that simply means is that having an account doesn't mean that you understand money. So, sending money, receiving money has become easier, but growing money has become really, really hard for more people. In Nigeria, which is our primary example, about 80 million people, as of the last CBN report. The problem is not technology. The problem is usefulness. What's the impact of the product and that have or help this digital money to flow? So when we look at it, how does digital finance, how has it changed lives, right? And what has the impact been since, you know, this whole digital finance movement started? One, it has made receiving and sending money easier, people getting paid easier, especially in this day and time where um, we are now in a gig economy. You know, some people call it another industrial age. Now, it is faster to help during emergencies. Um, More opportunities for small businesses because they don't have to go through the hassle of taking money. You if you are following the news in digital finance, you can hear that some other or some other startups have become bigger companies by driving merchant sales, merchant collection, and all. So but while all of this is good, the risk is still there, right? There's high interest loans, there's hidden fees, there's all of these things that people just agree to while they use digital finance product without even knowing. Meanwhile, this digital finance product are supposed to actually protect these people. Remember what I said earlier is the impact, the usefulness of this product. So we're looking at how this should be in reality and in relation to the service we offer at Super Capital. The first pillar that digital finance can use to protect people is identity. People must be recognized to access digital finance. I think this is a needed friction to be able to prevent all of the insecurity in digital finance. Digital ID helps people to open accounts safely. Um, Simple and fair ID rules would increase access. So no identity means no access to finance, no opportunity. So that's the first stage because we want to be able to identify who's having access to what money. The second one would be people having or getting money at the right time. So liquidity is very, very key in this particular pillar. Um, Two critical times in especially in the vast majority of people within the middle class and low earners is rent, when rent is due every other year, and when school reopens in September, especially for people that have more than one child, right? So is the money available at the right time? That's number one. Second thing is the credit available and is it affordable? So it can be available, but it's not affordable. So how is credit affordable? The interest rate of that credit. If any interest rate is more than single digit, it becomes too expensive for the borrower to be able to maintain because before they end up paying that, it's time for another rent, it's time for another major school fees and all of that. Now, credit should help people earn more and not put them more into financial sinking sands, for lack of better word or better expression. Timing and fairness also matter in this regard. And all of this is what we look at Super Capital when we deliver our service through our product on the Super Capital app. Um, for those that don't already know, the loan service on our platform is at single digits. The administrative fees are single digit. Nothing is in double digits on the Super Capital platform. So we're not just teaching it, we're practicing this, right? The third pillar is intelligence. So um, that's why we don't just offer the service at Super Capital. We make sure that we are also guiding our users and our community. So if you have money on an app and everything, it should guide you to make better decisions and not support sporadic spending. Automatic savings should reduce stress, which is why on our platform, you will see that once you subscribe to a savings plan, it automatically takes that money from your wallet and put into that plan for the period of time until it matures. So that way you are not stressing over, have I saved this month? Have I saved towards that goal? Have I saved towards this or that? Right? Simple reminders, right, to just keep you in track. For example, this webinar is another monthly reminder because we deliberately do it at the last week of every month because it is salary week, right? So we do not want our community veering off track. So these webinars are kind of a reminder to keep you on track. We also have things like in-app notification, emails that we send out, SMSs and things like that. So finally, on this particular point, good finance should be a guide that should not be confusing. It should be as easy as funding your wallet and subscribing to a savings or investment plan. That easy. And if you are currently using the Super Capital app, well, you will see that what we are saying here on this webinar is exactly what we have put into our product. So it has that intelligence to be able to guide you towards saving towards your goals, saving towards big things like your rent and your school fees times in September. The fourth pillar here is trust. People avoid what they don't trust. So, of course, it's money. It's very emotional, and people want to understand exactly what they are getting into. And one way to build trust is transparency. Fees should be clear. There should be clear definition of how much you are charging and how much you are, expected to spend at every given time when you are moving money from one place to another. Fair treatment is what builds loyalty. We've been building and testing and iterating the Super Capital product since 2020, right? Since 2020, we've had well over 1,000 people use our product, and it is that fairness and fairness in how we treat our community. That's why people keep coming back. We've had the pilot stage that had over 400 people that used it, which is our initial experiment. We've had the MVP alpha stage where we had over 1,000 people download the app off Play Store and used it. And then we also have our current MVP that's currently running with the virtual account system built in, supported by Sterling Bank and all of that. If you see, at every single stage, we've taken feedback from our community and built it into the product. Why are we doing that? It's simply to just build this fourth pillar of trust. So every digital finance product that you currently use or that you want to use in the future should have this particular pillar, just like we have it at Super Capital. This is why we encourage our community to use the platform, because the more you use it, the more we're able to get feedback from you and we're able to build that trust and loyalty. The fifth pillar is the interoperability. Pardon me. So what does this basically mean? So money should be able to move easily between the apps and the bank. Like when people initiate withdrawal on the Super Capital app, for example, it takes less than 48 hours once approval has been done to reach your local bank, right? Poor connection increases the cost of moving money around. So is it easy for a particular service to go from that app or that platform straight into your bank, and can you spend from that and things like that? That's what we're looking at here. How simple is it for it to use? And every single time we take feedback from our users and our community, we build that simplicity into the product. Now, products that are simple, they should be able to save time, they should be able to save money, and users should not be locked in to say, oh, you have to do it this particular way, or you have to do it this particular time, or things like that. There's that flexibility. For instance, there was a time, in our iteration process where all our savings started in January and ended in December. That flexibility has now been built in, where as I speak, you can start a savings plan today that matures the same time next year. You can start another one tomorrow. You can start another one in February. You can start another one in March. That flexibility is there. Nobody is locked in to say you have to start in January and finish in December anymore, because we have taken the community feedback and built that simplicity into the product. And we'll make sure that the system is able to save your time and save your money. There are no hidden costs, there are no hidden charges. There is no come to one meeting or buy a show a bill or things like that. That simplicity is there as a key pillar. So for access to finance in 2026, this is one of the things you should be looking out for. So next question is, what's actually working? There are wallets everywhere right now. People have wallets to do payment, people have wallets to collect payment. So want to be able to have wallets that do more than payments, right? And that's one thing we keep telling people that tell us, oh, your wallet, we want to be able to buy airtime on it, we want to be able to buy do some of this payment transaction on it. I say that's fantastic, right? But if every other wallet is doing that, right, what are we then doing? What makes us different from those people? So wallets are just beyond payments. I'm not saying that is bad in itself, but that encourages more spending than saving. That encourages more, scattering of your money than building wealth. Remember in previous slides when I talked about people having access to money, being able to send money and receive money fast, but they are not able to grow money, right? So what we've done is built the product in a way where savings is built into your daily spending, in a way where you can automate your savings, you can automate how you invest, and you don't have to overthink it, right? And these tools should be things that people who are farmers, traders, gig workers can use, right? And it should be community-based digital finance, and that's what works now. And if you see the super capital model, it's community-based, it's community-led. We started as a community in 2014, got licensed as a cooperative-led microfinance institution in 2017, and started building a company out in 2020. Everything we've done up until today is based on the feedback that we take from our community. So the community is at the center of everything that we do. Whether they are farmers, they are traders, they are gig workers, young professionals, small business owners, as the case may be. So those are some of the things that we've built into our own product, and those are some of the things you look out for when you are wanting to leverage digital finance to access wealth in 2026. Some of the important questions to ask, right? So if you want to use a product, does this product really help users? Does this product really help me? Is it easy to understand? Does it improve my stability over time? Does this drive inclusion, right? That improve my life, that improve the life of my community? Interestingly, these are some of the questions that we asked ourselves when we were building Super Capital, right? The salonist at the junction, the barber, the trader, people that sell tomatoes, people that drive keke and drive bikes, and they are taxi drivers. Those are the kind of people that we spoke with, we interacted with, we interacted with, to be able to make sure that if they can understand it, if this product can make their life a bit stable, then we've been able to include them in a way where their life can be improved. So these are important questions you should always ask, right? Finally, what needs to then happen in 2026 as you go forward looking into your financial life? Number one, tools that we build, right, is something that people should understand. And that is not going to happen without your involvement. If you do not use the product, we do not know whether you understand it. So you have to use the product and then come back to us with what you don't understand. Users should also be protected from unfair costs, which is why most of our cost of transaction is pegged at single digits, right? So whether you are, doing withdrawal transactions, whether you are borrowing on our platform, whether the transaction you are performing that include fees, it is single digits, right? We want to make sure that the cost is not unfair to you. It's not like we're charging you maintenance cost at the end of every month to keep the money. We're charging you card, whatever, and all of those funny charges that happens regularly in the financial industry today. That's what we are protecting our own community from. Thirdly, teach money skills alongside the technology, which is, literally what we are doing now. So beyond just building the technology for the community, we also teach the community about what money should be used for, what money skills are, how it is important to save, how it is important to invest, the kind of things we're investing in, and sharing some of these thoughts with you and answer your questions as well. Finally, digital finance should be able to improve your daily life, right? It's a no-brainer, to be honest. For whatever reason other people are building, we don't know. But for us at Super Capital, the improvement of the lives of our community members is one of the reasons we wake up every morning to do what we do. So if you are wondering why we do this, is because we want to be able to improve the life of our community members. So in closing, I would say that digital finance should be a tool and not a goal, right? So when you download an app, including the Super Capital app, yeah, when you download an app or you sign up to a product or whatever, it should be a tool, like a means to an end, and not the goal, right? Secondly, when you look at products, make sure that they are designed well to give you control. You decide, it's just like on the Super Capital app, you decide, your investment plans, you decide your savings goal, you decide, when you want it to be mature and when you want to withdraw and things like that. So that flexibility should be there. And finally, to just let you know that the future belongs to finance that works for everyone and not just for a certain kind of people, right? So if you have questions or you have comments or anything, leave them in the chat, leave them in the comments. And as usual, we're always looking, we're always reading, and we are always responding to your questions. So if you have any questions and you would like for me to answer, please put them in the chat. Sam, if you are here, you moderate the questions and I'll answer all of your questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Silas. I really want to commend for the webinar. Um, this topic, digital finance, is something that's very critical because um, every day new technology is coming out. People use new tools are always coming out every day, and one thing that we pride ourselves in super capital is we just go beyond building. We go as far as educating. And
Yep.
that's the reason why we have this. So we understand that most persons might not know how to use those tools are there in their faces, but they don't know how to use them. That's why we are here. So our topic for today was digital finance. I have one question before we await questions. As Mr. Salah said, if you have a question, please just drop it in. One question. The question I have is about this digital access. So, if you can just help us highlight what are some of the challenges being someone who as the CEO of Super Capital, someone who is building a product.
Okay, so you were talking about challenges, Sam. One of the biggest challenge, funny enough, is not technology. It's a very weird thing. One of the challenge is not technology, is the people, right? Most people are their own barrier towards leveraging um, access, digital finance access or financial access through digital technology. It is more of a mental shift than anything else, right? People are scared, which is why in one of the slides I talked about trust. People are scared because they get exposed to fraud, they get exposed to cyber attack, they get exposed to a lot of different things. So they would rather just transact in cash or keep the money to themselves or all the different. So that's one of the biggest barriers. So convincing people to actually have that mental shift to adopt digital finance so that they are able to have financial access is one of the biggest stumbling block, right? Two would be internet penetration. Like I said earlier, while I believe that a lot of people have access to mobile phones and things like that, we would also appreciate the fact that there are there are rural areas that do not have internet penetration and do not have access to internet or mobile phones and things like that. So that becomes a barrier. So reach becomes a barrier and things like that. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question, if that's the direction your question is going to, but I believe um, those are like the two biggest barriers in terms of people adopting digital finance to be able to have financial access. I think there is a question from Paul in the
Yeah,
group. He
yeah, I can
said,
see it. You said
yeah, he said,
25%. How do you do it in return than other firms?
well, because for us, we do not incur a lot of the other fees and charges that the other firms incur. We are able to save a lot of money to redistribute to our community. Now, the 25% is not set in stone. Disclaimer for those that haven't read our terms and conditions, it is up to 25%. There is nothing in the finance industry that is guaranteed. So sometimes we get up to the 25% mark, sometimes we don't. But for the best part, we do way, way better than a lot of other people in the sector because we are community led, do not charge excess fees and things like that, and we are not exposed to unnecessary fees um, because of how we have structured our own licensing and things like that. So it is way more affordable to run our business than most other firms the way they run. I think that hopefully that answers your question, Paul.
All right, thank you, sir. Um, I have one more question. So,
Go ahead,
speaking
please.
about you, I thought you mentioned something about community in you spoke about inclusion gap.
Yep.
So, what steps are Super Capital taking to cover that gap? Because there's this notion people have that investment and wealth growth is for the rich,
No,
while
it's not.
the normally just is just to live as for lack of better people say surviving on daily 2K. So what is super capital actually taken to help cover that inclusion gap to ensure that this wealth growth cuts across board?
Okay, so for us, like I said repeatedly, we're a community-led business, financial business, right? Um, so the first thing first is we drive what our financial services through communities. That's one. So it helps us to close that gap in the sense that um, people in the same kind of group, let's say traders, for example, we are able to close that gap for them. People in rural areas. Another thing we do is we operate a hybrid distribution model in terms of having agents, community agents who bridge the gap between those that are technology savvy and those that are not technology savvy. That kind of closes the inclusion or exclusion gap, right? So that we're able to bring those that are kind of financially excluded into the financial inclusion circle, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing we do is to make sure that the fees are affordable. So for those that already have smartphones, are technology savvy and things like that, fees are affordable. And finally, there's a referral program on our system where you can invite your family and friends and also get some form of referral bonus. That way we are, closing the gap as much as we can. I can see that the chat is popping. What's going on? All right. So, all right, Paul, I believe I have answered your question. It should just be patient enough to watch the replay. I answered your question. Maybe your network went off a bit because I saw your video come on and go off. Okay, so there's another question about how can one
Yes, about
join the
community.
community? What are the benefits of joining the community? So to join the community is as easy as going on the Super Capital website. That's supercapital.co. Go on the Super Capital website, just put your email and your first name to join our newsletter, our email newsletter. You can also join the WhatsApp community. The link is currently in the chat, is on our bio on all social media. Just join it. And then you can be getting broadcasts from us and things like that. And then download the app, right? Because the primary thing that brings us all together is financial inclusion and all of that. So download the app, set up your wallet, go through the identity checks, which is, regulatory. And I said it's the first pillar when we had the conversation today. Go through the identity check, make sure to pass KYC and all, and then that's it. You are part of the community. And as for the benefit, well, we offer three primary services: savings, investments, and lending, right? So you are able to set your own savings goal. Like I said, we're very, very flexible. You are able to set the goal, give it a name, what you want it, if it's for school fees, if it's for rent, if it's for anything. That's number one benefit. Number two benefit, the returns on the interest on your savings or returns on your investment is very, very competitive. Like somebody was asking, we do up to 25% returns per annum. And that's because we invest in a variety of asset classes and make sure that we make our portfolio is diversified enough to erode any form of risk. And we do not charge excessive fees like, traditional people, bankers or traditional financial settings do. So that's why we have enough money to be able to distribute up to 25%. So I believe that also touches on what Paul was asking earlier, right? So that's number one. Number two thing of the benefit. Number three is you are in a community where a lot of us are sharing about this financial knowledge. So financial literacy is something you would have naturally paid for somewhere else, but as part of Super Capital community, you get it for free. So, and then as a bonus, if you invite or when you invite your family and friends, you also get a referral bonus. So is a whole basket of goodies, if you ask me.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Silas. Um, I think it's one more question. Is it paid community or is it free to join? So I
Free to
believe
join.
it's
Our community is free to join. It's completely free to join. Nobody's asking you for anything. So
yeah.
yeah.
So it's completely free, as Mr. Sala said. So thank you very much to everybody for that took out time to join today. Paul, please, as was stated, you could just check the replay. Yes, we understand that network can be an issue. So this webinar is being recorded. You can check the replay on YouTube. While this one is still going to be in production, you can check our previous content. All our webinars are all on the YouTube channel, so you could always go back and then recheck it. So once again, thank you to everyone for coming. All right. We do hope you have a pleasant evening and then happy new month in advance. It's just a few hours to February. 2026 has started and January is over already. Wow. Okay. So as I said, as was stated, you can join the community via our websites, or you can also join our WhatsApp channel because it's easy for everyone to just access on the WhatsApp channel. It's something everyone use. All right, so you can just drop an email with us, Super Capital, support@supercapital.co. Okay, Olarum Paul, thank you for that. I think I've gotten the mail. So that being said, thank you to everyone for coming, and then we'll see you guys at the end of next month for the next webinar. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Thank you, Mr. Silas, for the time.
All right, then. Thank
Bye,
you very
guys.
much. Bye.